Chennai is famous for having produced some of the greatest matches in India, and its fans have had a big role to play in that.
நல்ல player யார் விளையாண்டாலும் encourage பண்ணுவோம்.
Cricket is a game, you don't watch it as a war, right? Just a game.
Every school promotes cricket. Chennaites are very sportive and they encourage any team. Pakistan also.
We're kind of gentle folk traditionally. I think we just support good cricket irrespective of who plays.
It's just an appreciation for the sport more than the individuals themselves. I treat it like a sport and as a passion more than a religion or anything like that.
When Swanee and Bopara are bowling maidens, they were also cheering, so knowledgeable. And applauding dot balls as well, so it means they're enjoying cricket.
We decided to ask a few people what makes Chennai fans what they are.
There's a deep cricketing culture in the city. People read a lot about the game. They talk about the game most of the time. Cricket is in the blood of most of the people here.
People who live here in Triplicane are supposed to be the most knowledgeable. When I used to play college matches, we used to have at least 4,000, 5,000 people from all walks of life. The tolerant attitude of the people is one. People have been born, brought up, they live cricket, breathe cricket here.
The Chennai audiences support and cheer the game, the quality of the game, and so that's really refreshing, at least for an Indian crowd which is always associated with being colourful and loud.
It's something like the Caribbean passion you see in Chepauk. Every third person is going to have an opinion on the most minutest things.
The general culture amongst people in Madras has been analytical to an extent.
To be a spectator, to follow a game itself is a big thing here in the city. It's not a wave of support, it's more like an understanding of the game.
It is a very enlightened kind of, sophisticated kind of crowd. So they are quite cerebral. The artistry is always valued here.
There's always been a very sound reason for why this was a very knowledgeable crowd. A large percentage of the people sitting in the stands had actually played cricket or were still playing at least weekend recreational cricket. People don't come to the grounds to try and get their mugs on TV. Your neighbors, when you went back home, didn't think you'd done something great. You actually got laughed at for doing that.
Gokul, in fact, decided to probe Dhoni about the same.
The Chennai crowd is known to be a very fair crowd and they can be expected to get behind either team. Will that make any difference to you at all?
This ground is, the supporters or the fans are always said to support good cricket. So even if the opposition, they play a good shot or they get a boundary, it always gets applauded over here, which is a good sign. But at the same time, we have seen close games happening. All of a sudden they turn and cheer for the bowler who is at the run-up or the batsman who is batting at that point of time. So you'll get that extra help whenever it's needed. But overall, they support good cricket, which I feel is good enough for both the sides.
It makes you wonder why such a cricketing culture hasn't produced a Dhoni.
We decided to ask some people in Chennai who should know.
We are not entirely team people. I think we are individualists more than team people. The same 11 doesn't play two matches together. That is a clear indicator that you cannot work together as a team. Unless you win as a team, you can't produce those great players. That confidence, it gives you a different feeling.
You find cricketers out of Tamil Nadu, they shine in more than cricket. The desire to excel, to cut off things, to finish. That they have been lacking.
Temperamentally, I think the lads from here have not been as strong as, say, someone from Bombay. They are not as fiercely driven.
There's been a very solid league structure here. Jobs were linked with playing cricket. You get a decent monthly salary. Ambition has already been sated at the level of playing Ranji Trophy.
It's just a combination of, circumstances, luck.
Luck and circumstance did not favour V. Ramnarayan.
There are still more than a few who consider him to be the best off-spinner to have ever played for Hyderabad.
This is an important story because it's about rejection, its repercussions and the surmounting of it to make something positive at the end of it.
These are not stories that often make their way into the public domain.
I didn't play much organized cricket till I came to college. I didn't have too many opportunities because my father kept getting transferred. So it was not until I did my undergraduate studies that I really started playing regular cricket, competitive cricket. I was doing very well in Madras in the 60s. Unfortunately, I was an off-spinner and Venkat had already played for India. I was a couple of years younger, and so until he left, I couldn't get in.
He left Madras to go to Hyderabad to take up a bank job when he was 24. But it wasn't until 26 that he became an off-spinner for his bank. But even then, he didn't get enough matches.
Every Sunday I would go to the cricket ground because there was a lot of cricket in Hyderabad those days. And I would go there, I would be 12th man or, play in the 11 and not get a bowl. I was already married. I said, why am I wasting all my time away from my wife and my other pursuits? I gave up. Actually, I gave up playing. I stopped going and practicing with the bank team and so on. One fine morning, 4 of them landed up in my house, my seniors. They literally carried me to the ground. And they promised. They said, after this game, if you don't want to play again, fine by us. So my team didn't want to let this young fellow go. So that day I took 6 wickets and I followed it up. In the next 4 games I took some 20 odd wickets. Then suddenly I was on the verge of playing for the state. I made my Ranji debut at 28. I took 6 wickets on my debut. I took 6 again in the second match. The same year I took 7 against Bombay. You know, those days if you did well in Mohenjo-daro, the whole country watched. I took 8 for 75 in the final against JK11. It was a star-studded team led by Tiger Patodi, and so my whole life changed within a single year, and I almost played for the country.
Before he could make his mark, an incident led to him being wrongly identified as a rebel and then being politically victimized.
I didn't stop playing cricket. I think I was dropped before my time. The story did not end there. One fine morning, I get a phone call from Mr. Jaisima saying, Ram, pack your bags, you're playing Duleep Trophy. So I was picked to play for South Zone versus North, was it? Yeah, North Zone at Kanpur. I was the highest wicket taker in the first innings in a tall scoring match. So this Golden Jubilee Trophy at Calcutta, they dropped me for that. So it was such a harsh punishment, you know. You kicked out, you think you're coming back, and then you're in the zone, kicked out again. And it was a complete defeat. I couldn't bear to watch cricket. So I gave up my job and took up a new job here in Madras. In Hyderabad, my career was over. I thought I was coming back. Gone again. I come here to Madras with no hope of playing any serious cricket. I take 10 wickets in the first league game I played, 5 and 5. Get picked for the state second 11 in Buchibabu. Take 7 for 65. End of career. It was a very bitter blow, very difficult to deal with. And there were people who were telling me, you're not good enough. So that hurt even more.
Indian cricket has always been plagued by dirty politics, and senior ex-cricketers and administrators have often been its worst culprits.
A man who said, here is a clear case of victimization. We have to address this. The same man, 2 weeks later, in another meeting, Ram, you should accept the fact that you're over the hill, you're old. I mean, same man. So, a man to whom we all used to look up. So I got over it. It took me a long time. I was very bitter. I was bitter. You played Duleep Trophy, you played Irani Cup, you were bowling in the state nets with no hope of playing. How would you react? So that was the end of my first class career. And that is the time I really accepted that I had no chance. But I used to imagine if Venkat, me and Vasudevan had been a 3-pronged attack, how good we would have been at that time. Didn't happen. But soon afterwards, Shivaramakrishnan came and they became a very good attack, three-man attack. So no regrets because a younger man played. I enjoyed my cricket after that, played in local cricket for many years. Enjoyed kicking ass to young fellows who used to strut around and used to tell them I'm coming here and bowling on one leg, try and get some runs against me. So I used to get a lot of perverse pleasure. It was great fun. I played the first division league till I was 43 or so. Even there I lost to Venkat because he was 47 or something still playing.
It's refreshing to find that he has no illusions about the mistakes he himself made.
I think I did not take certain risks. Dilip Doshi called me to play in Calcutta, and then Anshuman Gaikwad, he said he could arrange for a job in Baroda, and I said no to both of them. I said I don't want a cricketing job. I had to play one game for Baroda and I would have been in the zone team. Or I went to Bengal. So those were bad moves. That if I believed I will go there, play for the zone, play for India, I would have gone. It was just snobbery of the worst kind to think that you're better than just a cricketer. I think I had that kind of unnecessary arrogance. I feel that perhaps sometimes these people who really believe in it will things to happen. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little romantic there, but I think that prevented me from taking calculated risks.
His wife Gauri, who once was a cricket enthusiast, gave it up for life after what her husband went through.
Here she opens up about this subject for the first time in many years.
I just got cheesed off when I saw the underbelly of cricket. I found that real merit was not recognized. I would not take any interest in a game which approaches probably the closest to the highest form of art. Did not live up to my ideas of what that game should be. Not only did it not recognize merit, but I think it sometimes actually depressed, dismissed merit for other considerations.
Despite all that Mr. V. Ramnarayan has gone through, it is inspirational to see what he has made of his life. Today, he is the editor-in-chief of a magazine called Shruti, which is the only magazine on performing arts in India, which has even won him an international award for music journalism.
He is also a writer and a translator, which has even had him nominated for the Crossword National Awards.
He has been an editor and a contributor. He has been a biographer, and he has written a complete book on Tamil Nadu cricket, his first.
It's quite ironic that the same thing that makes people like Mr. V. Ramnarayan move on with life beyond cricket also takes the edge off of so many Tamil Nadu cricketers, which is their being well-rounded.
He was exceptionally unlucky. Just like Padmakar Shivalkar and Rajinder Goyal were earlier, they were great spinners during the time of those four legendary spinners of India's. Yeah, very similarly to
S. Badrinath from Tamil Nadu right now, who's in the shadows of the big four or the big five.
Yeah, and he was unlucky later also. I mean, the next generation came up, Shivlal Yadav, Arshad Ayub, and
so he was kind of sandwiched.
There's a lot of bad luck there, but he started his second life. He became a writer at the age of 48 and has achieved quite a lot since then.
It's nice to know that there is a life beyond cricket and there is a life beyond youth.